Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to take an image of the stars that looks like this and turn it into this. One of the things I've been doing here in Arizona is to try and learn more about astrophotography. Now I'm taking advantage of the fact that I live very close to some dark sky locations. So I've been out doing a lot of camping, trying out various techniques. So if my voice is a little raspy, I need to stop and get some tea. It's because I've been out camping in the cold, trying to capture these images for all of you. Now this particular technique we're going to look at today actually takes a single image. Now there's a variety of techniques you can do for astrophotography. This one's going to work if you have a single image and you want to add a glow to your galaxy. So let's take a look at how to do this. So here's the original capture, and you can see it's a very warm image. And I like my images to be a little bit more cooler. Also, we have some artifacts left over from creating the panorama. And we also have this tree in the lower right hand corner that I really don't want to have in my image. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to crop this image down just a little bit. So I'm going to move the lower right hand corner up to get rid of the tree. Oh, a little bit too far there. That's better. And then the upper left hand corner, because a little bit of the pano is missing at the top. Okay, I think we're good to go here. This is the image that we're going to be working with. So again, this is a very warm image, so I'm going to cool down the colors just a bit here. And now I'm going to have to address a couple things, like there's a light dome on the left and on the right. And we can also see that there is a lot of grain in this single image, so we're going to have to address these issues as well. So first of all here, we're going to take a look at trying to reduce a little bit of the background noise. Remember, in space we don't have noise, it's dark, so we want to try and address those. So to deal with this noise, we're going to go down to our noise reduction, and we're going to start with the luminance. Now this is going to do quite a bit for us when it comes to kind of drowning out all that extra noise that is happening in the background. The more noise we can suppress, the better. Now this does cause you to lose detail, but because we're working with the galactic cloud, it is kind of a fuzzy environment anyhow, so this is going to do too much damage to our image. Alright, next we're going to work on trying to get this image a little blacker where it needs to be. A little too much there. We want to try and get the background black, but not lose too much of the actual Milky Way itself. And this is a very difficult process. I'm going to be playing around with the contrast. I'm going to be playing around with the blacks and whites. I'll also be playing around a little bit with the clarity, trying to get it nailed down. But of course, we still have those really bright areas on the left and right. So we're going to start off with a linear mask and position it roughly over where we have the bright lights of Sedona. All right, I'm going to undo the overlay so we can see it. And I'm going to start dropping the exposure, and I need to try and do this carefully because I don't want that to happen. I don't want the cloud to completely disappear, but I've got to bring some of that light under control. When I find something that's acceptable, then I can move around the gradient itself to try and find an area, try to find a location, a width where it's going to work out for us. And again, I'm going to play around a little bit more here with the brightness, trying to find careful balance. Otherwise, you're going to see a diagonal dark line in the screen, or we're going to have too much light from Sedona. All right, now I'm playing around with the overall image just a little bit, trying to see what else we can do to get that dark but not look too terribly bad. All right, we're going to go back over here to our masking, and we're going to adjust it just a little bit more. You see, I'm going to try and bring it down closer to the lower left. And I'm going to expand out its effect a little, bring in the effect just a little bit. Again, we're trying to tame all of this. There you go. Getting a little bit better here. Again, you're going to have to play to try and find that balance. All right, we're going to go ahead and add in another linear mask, and this time we're going to deal with what's in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. And again, that's the light dome coming out of Flagstaff. All right, once we have it set, we're going to remove the overlay so we can see what we're going to do. And we're going to repeat the process where, again, we're trying to clear out the noise in the background, the light. Now, it's a little bit easier to do here because it doesn't contain any part of the galactic cloud. All right, it's going to cool down the image just a little bit more. And I can see, look at this, significantly reduced noise. And I can see the effect of the Milky Way itself. So we're going to edit it now in Photoshop. So we got the photo, edit in, and we're going to open this up as a smart object. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this image. And this top image is what we're going to be making our modifications to. So it's going to be very similar to doing the Orton effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this by going to our levels. And we're going to bring in the top and the bottom by just 25%. Now this brings out a kind of a neat image, but it's very sharp. It really doesn't help us out too much here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an overlay. We're going to go with the linear dodge. And this is going to help us make the galaxy stand out more. Now we can play around with the fill, and we can also play around with the opacity. Now, truth be told, because we really haven't done too much to this, probably the opacity is going to be the better choice here. The fill will only allow transparency to happen where there's been modifications to the image, but opacity will do the entire thing. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to try and increase the brightness of this. You can see what I did is I added in a duplicate of the second layer. And so here's the original image. And here's with one layer added back in. And with the second layer, you can see how the glow just intensifies. But one of the problems is down in the lower left-hand corner, we're getting a lot of artifacts in there. That's just not going to be acceptable. So we're going to go ahead and remove this layer. And what we're going to do is we are going to be adding in a masking layer. Now, the idea here is we're going to diminish the effect of this particular layer. So I'm going to choose a brush size and make it very soft. I don't want any sharp edges. That's a good size for this. And I also have my opacity set to 12%. Now that means is I'm going to have to brush over this area several times in order to make it dimmer or to get this particular layer to disappear more. And I'm going to brush more in the lower left-hand corner where the problems seem to be a little bit more intense. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate out that layer once again. And those the issues I have with the pixels are not going to be as pronounced. Now, the next thing I can do is just go ahead and simply save it, and it's going to go back into Lightroom, and we'll be ready to do any final edits that we need to. Well, I hope all of you enjoyed that little tutorial on how to make that galactic cloud just glow. Now, here's a cool thing I'm going to be doing with it. I'm actually going to be taking an image that I took of the U.S. Capitol. It's one of my best-selling images. And take a look at this. I am replacing the sky and some of the reflections in the water with that image, or with that starry background. I'm going to upload it to stock photography and see how it does. Now, if you're on my expedition team at patreon.com/EWJ, I have an extra video for you. We're going to be adding some extra color to this image. All right, everybody, thank you again for watching. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week. Take care.